Okay. So today that I will keep the continuation of the talking about the commitments of the mind training. So in the mind training, now you can see the commitment that the 11th commitment as you talk about the don't strike a vulnerable point. Can you see that the 11th point in the mind training? It talks about the don't strike a vulnerable point. So actually, this point is a very important point. It talks about the commitments of the mind training. So here it talks about that in the mind training, it's very important to criticize, not to criticize the other, not too much criticizing. So you should know the one thing that criticizing other, it's just like a backseat driver. You know what happens with a backseat driver? It makes the drivers goes mad. Only it will make a driver mad, that's all, nothing more than that. So criticism is just like a backseat driver, and so that's why the second thing is not only the criticism, blaming games. So here it means that don't criticize and don't blame. So blaming is something like that, that if you look at the people, some people, they blame everything. If the weather is hot, then it's too hot for them. If it's cold, it is too cold them. For some people, every day is a bad day. Not because of the day is a bad, because of they blame it. Once they blame, they make it everything is wrong. So that's why you should know the one thing. When you go and blames other, 50% of the people, they don't care whatever you blame. 50% of the people who hears you're blaming to the others, they will not care. 50% might be happy when you blame. They might be happy to see that you are having the issue, you are having the problem. So that's why here it's saying that don't strike a vulnerable point means that don't go on the criticizing. Don't play the blaming game. So don't blame for the others. No, normally what do the people do is that when something goes wrong, something goes wrong, first thing is that they will not try to find the solution. They don't try to find the cause of the issue. They will blame someone. They will try to find a scapegoat to blame. So that's why here the commitment saying that when you are practicing the mind training, don't go negative criticize, and don't blame other. So blaming is something like that. I may tell you the one story. The retiring president of the company having a farewell party after he was retired from the company. Then the new president asked him that the retired president, do you have any advice for me? Retired president gave the new president two envelopes and told that the incoming president that whenever you have some issues comes in your company and which you cannot solve, just open my envelope. Just open my first envelope. If you face another issue and problem in the company, then you open the second envelope. Then what happened is after the few years later, there comes up one very major crisis came. Then the president went into the safe and pull out the first envelope. And when he opened the first envelope, it said that blame it on your predecessor. Blame it on your predecessor. So to solve that major crisis, he did exactly the same. He blamed it on the predecessor. It went quite well. After the few years later, again, another major crisis came in the company. Then when he got the second envelope, when he opened the second envelope, then he saw that in envelope, it said that now prepare 2 envelopes for your successor. Now you prepare the 2 envelopes for your successor. Now it means that you have time to retire now. So this is what is happening. This is how we do in the blaming games and the criticizing. So that's why they're saying the commitment is that don't go for the negative criticizing, don't go for the blaming. So when you go for the blaming, you cannot find the solution at all. Because that way, blaming is something like that you are not accepting there is something wrong. You are just you are throwing the responsibilities to the others. You are not taking the responsibility of solving the issue. So that's why it's saying that don't strike a vulnerable point. Now you can see the 12th commitment. Don't transfer the ox burden to the cows. Don't transfer the ox burden to the cows. It is like a very idiom. So don't transfer the ox burden to the cow. Here it's saying that normally, what does that mean? Is very simple, that when you are not happy with someone, but you will show that anger to someone else. When you are not happy with your spouse or your partner, you will show that anger to your children. Or you are not happy with in your colleague, you have some dispute with your colleague, you will show that anger into your family. We do a lot of like that. So this is all I have to remember, that when you are arguing with your family, or when you are arguing with your partner, or when you are arguing with your colleague or whoever, you have to think that, are you really transferring the ox burden to the cow? When you are not happy with someone, but most of the time what happens is you will show that anger to your close one. You're showing that anger because you want to release that anger. So you are releasing that anger. You are releasing that stress. You are releasing that pressure to someone too close to you, because you are not happy with the others. So that's why it's very important that sometimes when you are not showing anger, when you are arguing with someone, so you have to really look very carefully that really, because you're showing the anger to your close one, because of you're not happy with the others. So lots of time we do like that. So that's why you're saying that don't transfer the ox burden into the cow. We have the one saying that Tibetan days is saying that not happy with the king. When you're getting the anger to the king and kicking a dog, you are very angry to the king, but you cannot hit the king. So that's why you kick your own dog. So yeah, this is the point that we shouldn't do that. Now you can see the 13th commitment. It's saying that don't be the competitive. This is don't be the competitive means don't compare. That at this point, I already mentioned the before. Lots of time that we compare ourselves with the others more than that we have to. So here it talks about not comparing with ourselves with the other. More you compare, more you will become unhappy. So that's why don't compare. So now it might be very difficult for you to not to compare with yourself with the other. So now what I'm saying is that there's a two way of the comparing yourself, right way and the wrong way. Positive comparison and the negative comparison. So I will tell you, do it the positive competitive. Be the positive competitive, not the negative competitive. Don't compare yourself with others, means don't compare yourself with others in a negative way, wrong way. Example, when you are having a food on your table, don't look at the person who are eating the better food than you. When you have a food on the table, look at those people who don't have a food on the table. Then you will feel that you are blessed. So that's why when you have a shoe to wear, look at those persons who don't have a shoe. Then you will feel the blessed. So this is the something. So that's why from the Buddhism practice, when the Buddhism practice, the preliminary practice of Buddhism is that look into the human body, just see that how precious of the human rebirth we have achieved. It is teaching us how to look at the positive things, how to look at the positive, how you can be the happy and the joyful, seeing the good things you are having. So that's why don't be the company. So the 13th commitment, I will change a little bit. I will say that don't be a competitive, yet be competitive. Don't be a competitive, yet be a competitive. What I mean is that don't compare yourself with a negative way, but compare yourself with a positive way. So be a positive competitive, okay, not a negative. So that's why the positive compare is now, when I told you don't compare yourself with the other, it might be a little bit difficult because we are comparing ourselves with the other all the time. Now, immediately when you have to throw that habit, it will be not that easy. So that's why now what you have to do is you have to compare in the very right way. Look the things what you have and look the things the people don't have it. Now, always remember the one thing. Sometimes you forget how lucky you are. Sometimes we forget how lucky we are. Sometimes we forget that. Also, you always have to think that sometimes I forget how lucky I am. Because you forget. Because you forget that how lucky you are, because you don't look at the good things what you're having it. So that's why always things that look at what you don't have. Okay, now the 13th point, and now you can see that 14 the commitments. These commitment is something that always you have to remember. Being as a practitioner, you have to also remember that what you can do and what you cannot do. It is like a commitment. So one time, that's a quite long back. I think nearly now the 2 years back. I was in the schools. Schools I went to the few schools at the junior schools and the elementary schools in the Oregon. So Oregon, and in the school, I asked all the kids that, do you know that how many rules I have to follow? I asked them because have you ever seen the person like me who are wearing the red cloth? Then the second question I used to ask them that how many rules I have to follow. So the kids, some kids say, 10, 15, 20. Then I don't know, no, I have more than 200 rules, more than 200 rules to follow. So most of kids, they will get shocked and really amazed. So when they hear that I have to follow the more than 200 rules. So same thing here, the commitment is something like that, like a rules, said that you have to remember that what you can do and what you cannot do. And the kids, one in the Oregon school, the one small kid asked me that if I break the rules, what happens? So I told him nothing will happen. Same thing in this commitment. If you go something wrong again with this commitment, you don't worry that what will happen. Nothing will happen. But if you keep on these commitments, it will help you that it will help you to transform yourself into the better. It will help you to make sure that your life's more perfect. It helps you to bring the more joy and the peace in your mind. So that's why the commitments are important to the transform or to change yourself. Okay, so that's the thing. So now here it's saying the 13th commitment. Now you can see the 14th commitment. Don't misperform the rites. Don't misperform the right is this commitment. So I will not explain that what does that mean, because I want to keep it as an assignment for you all, and just try to find it out that what does that mean. What does that mean? And this is the one thing that what you have to do is you have to meditate at trying to find the meaning of it. Normally what we do is that everything you will go, I know that if I ask you what the meaning of it, I'm sure that what will you do is that you will just search in the Google, just type in the Google. When you go in the time in the Google, you are not knowing that you are not using your secret potential to finding the reality. You are just getting that is something just like you are just following someone's idea. What you call the repetition. When you repeat the things, you will not know something from your side. So that's why at this point, just close your eye and meditate and think that find something. When the Buddha was meditating the 6 years, he was just looking and he was trying to find out what is the root cause of the suffering. How can we eliminate that? But the good thing is that at that time, at the Buddha's time, there is no Google. If there's a Google, I'm sure that the Buddha will type in the Google and he won't achieve the enlightenment at all. When you're searching in the Google, you are just repeating. You are just trying to find the repeat and following someone's idea. So that's why the 14th commitment, just close your eye and spend maybe daily 5 to 10 minutes and think, trying to find the meanings. When you meditate and when you do the things again and again something, you will find something. That will make the big difference. Big difference between the repeating and the big difference with the discovering yourself. Now, this point, I want you to discover by yourself through meditation, we can say that through your subconscious, through your unconscious, to discover something. Whatever you know through the Google, you will know by the conscious level. You know everything through the conscious level. You will not knowing through the subconscious and the unconscious level. You will know the things, subconscious and unconscious level, when you discover it, when you meditate, when you close your eye. So that's why. So I will come back to the same that what Carl Jung have said. When you open your eye, you will dream. When you close your eye, you will get awake. So that's why. So now the 14th point, you have to close your eye and think, what does that mean? Don't misperform the rites. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you. And the today will stop. Thank you so much. Thank you.